And it being Thursday, with me for the first hour, he's in the studio. That's a rare treat. Well, no, he comes in most times he comes in, but he's in tonight. Senior Fellow from the New Culture Forum, Philip Kiszely. Hi, Philip.
I am indeed here. It's great to see you, Kev.
Always a pleasure. Well, actually, before we get to the gingerbread people, please, gingerbread men, I'm so sick of this stuff. Let me know what you think. I'm sick of it. Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. Go into Tesco's, go into Morrisons, shout it. Gingerbread men, Christmas, Christmas. I'm sick of it. Let me know what you think. 03444991000. Why are they trying to cancel it? Why are you trying to cancel it? Unbelievable. Before we do that, get to that story, we'll show you the picture of the gingerbread people in a minute. Gingerbread people. My favourite is Snow Person. Snow Person, snowman. Anyway, the former Children's Commissioner, Baroness Anne Longfield, when they get these lords and ladies, they sort of rise without trace, and they're always given the chairmanships or the chairpersonships of inquiries. So Baroness Anne Longfield will lead the inquiry into the rape gangs. So they've been looking for someone to lead this for a long, long time. This is the Labour government, have finally found their woman. Anne Longfield is a dyed-in-the-wool Labour Party stalwart.
Never.
Until this week, she was the Labour whip in the House of Lords. She's resigned that to take over the inquiry. Now, what we were looking for here was someone who was studiously impartial, unbiased. So the victims, many of whom have quit the entire inquiry because they're not happy with what's been going on. They've already risen up in fury over a suggestion that an ex-copper should do it. Well, coppers are half the problem. Coppers turned their backs and didn't investigate rape gangs. They've talked about a social worker, same deal. You know, so the victims, they're just quitting the inquiry in their droves, saying, well, you know, we don't want a copper, we don't want a social worker. So Labour have struggled now for I think it's about 5-6 months trying to find someone. Now they've chosen one of their own who's bound to go easy on Labour. This is exactly what the nation and the victims did not want. And by the way, Baroness Longfield is quite a Jeremy Corbyn fan as well. She's been busy tweeting about how wonderful he is. So I think this is a scandal.
It is. It's a slap in the face for the victims, and it's the Labour Party once again marking their own homework, isn't it? We know precisely what's going to happen here, not least because Shamama Mahmood has come out and said, this is a quote, "The sickening acts of a minority of evil men, as well as those in positions of authority who look the other way, must not be allowed to marginalise or demonise entire communities of law-abiding citizens." Of course they mustn't, but that isn't the priority. The priority is the victims, and the Labour Party cannot get it through their heads that 1, we want transparency, okay, 2, we want independence, and 3, we want justice for those victims, and we're not going to get any of those things. What happens is the government, as always, puts the identity issue of ethnicity, race and religion right at the heart of this.
And Mike Tapp, one of the government's apparatchiks today, he said that the inquiry would not shy away from investigating whether or not ethnicity was a factor in this. Oh, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Labour. Here's the deal. The vast majority of the members of these rape gangs who may, it seems, have defiled, tortured, drugged up and raped as many as 250,000, mainly young, white, vulnerable girls, young, white and vulnerable, many of them underage, by the way. The vast majority of these rape gang fiends were, and are, because they're still operating, Muslim men of Pakistani heritage.
Yeah, we know that.
We know that already. And all you've got old Mahmood saying, oh, we mustn't allow this to demonise communities. In other words, they're shying away from the truth. It's obvious. The victims are not happy already. So Labour, I'll tell you another thing about Baroness Longfield. We shouldn't prejudge her, but I hope she does not shy away from the fact that in most of these rape gang horrors happened in Labour-controlled boroughs and constituencies.
They did indeed, and it's we know who it is. It's not if. What we want is a critical analysis of why this happened, and we also want a critical analysis of why social workers and coppers were calling 10-year-olds prostitutes.
Yeah.
You know?
And I want also to know why the then Director of Public Prosecutions from 2008 and 2000 to 2013, a certain Mr. Keir Starmer, was so slow to react. He hails himself as the hero who really got to grips with it. He didn't do anything till about 2013. So what was he up to? So that's another reason why a Labour politician being in charge of this inquiry. She's a former child commissioner, so children's commissioner, so I guess we can hope for the best in that respect. She may be interested in kids' welfare, but she's a Labour politician. Will she have the guts to say this mostly happened in Labour-controlled constituencies and boroughs, and will she have the guts to say that the future leader of the Labour Party, and indeed the future Prime Minister, Mr. Keir Starmer, when he was Director of Public Prosecutions, was curiously inactive on this front? Because these are the years, 2008 to 2013, when rape gang activity was at its worst. What was he doing? Will she have the guts?
I don't think she will, but I think, well, the other question for me is, will she have the guts to acknowledge that this stuff is still going on now? We always talk about rape gangs as though they are an historical entity. They're not, are they? This stuff is going on now. Only this week there was a horrible story about in Bolton, and the stuff happening in Rochdale and Oldham all the time. These places, it's still going on there. So we mustn't fall into the trap of thinking, oh, that happened then, we need justice for those people. Yes, of course we need justice for those people, but we need to stop it happening now, and we need to think about the future. So it's all of those things. This inquiry must bring into past, present and future, as all good inquiries should do, but of course it won't.
Yeah, I love it. You know, it's Mike Tapper. We won't shy away from investigating whether ethnicity was a factor. We know ethnicity was a factor. We absolutely know it already. It just proves this inquiry, I think, might be as dodgy as the COVID inquiry. This is very disappointing. Let me know what you think, folks. Let's return to a far less serious topic, but I do think it is important, this gingerbread people. We've got a picture. This is Morrisons. There they are, gingerbread people. Now, I know this isn't brand new, but, you know, this is what we've had: evergreen trees from Tesco's. We've had winter jumpers. This is from various schools in London who this year won't be having Christmas jumper day. It's winter jumper day. Festive dinners for kids, not Christmas dinners. Countdown calendars. That was Chocolonely Chocolate Company. They released not the Christmas Advent calendar, but the countdown calendar. Snow persons. That's my favourite. I mean, what is wrong with A, gingerbread men, B, snowmen, that we've always said, and what is wrong with the word Christmas?
Well, it feels as though, I'm surprised at Morrisons actually, because they're just shooting themselves in the foot with this. They must have seen all the pushback that all the other companies and organisations have got for being ridiculously woke and ridiculously stupid. But here they are falling in line. They're doing a Tesco, aren't they? They're doing a Tony's Chocolonely. And most of their stores, I think, are in the north. Actually, they're in the north of England. Yeah. They're around Yorkshire and Manchester and places like that. Those people are not going to go for this. They're really not going to go for this. So I hope they get so much pushback, just like all the other companies have had, because that's the only way this stuff is going to change. I've said before, the only way this is going to change is for these companies to get a real kick in the profits. And once that happens, then they will start thinking twice. But this is marginalising. This is a consistent attack on our heritage, our culture, our joy, the joy of having Christmas. It's just, it's joyless, it's miserable, and people are sick of it.
Who does Morrisons think are going to get offended by the term gingerbread men? I mean, you know, you're allowed to have men. You know, if I say, oh look, there's a group of men over there, you know, what are you going to say? Well, you better balance that out by saying there's some women over there. I mean, this is just absurd. This is absurd. You know, these are the sort of woke warriors who are wrecking Christmas. And, you know, I mean, those of us who are old enough, you know, I suppose it won't especially affect us, but it's kids I worry about. You know, kids at school who go in and they don't have Christmas jumper. They don't have Christmas jumper day. They have winter jumper day.
Yeah, it's just so awful. Like I say, it's the most mean-minded, mean-spirited thing. And I kind of know what's going on here. There will be woke idiots working at Morrisons, and they will be agitating for this to happen. And they'll have, you know, some activists a handful of activists will have complained about it. So they'll immediately go into meltdown, they'll panic, and they'll do exactly what they want. And this is what's happened year on year, decade on decade, over the last 20 or 30 years, when identity politics has just been massive. Yeah. And it just takes apart everything piece by piece. And it's a minority of people. Most people think all of this stuff is stupid.
Yeah, that's right.
And most people want to enjoy Christmas.
Just in case, for the avoidance of doubt, this is officially a Christian country. It is our official state religion. This is not a secular country. Iraq, for example, is a secular country. In other words, they don't have a state religion. We do. So we must stop sweeping our state religion under the carpet. This is Christmas. This is the premier Christian festival of the year. And I think we should all stand up and stop allowing these corporations, these schools, these businesses to chip away at the magic of this time of year, if only for the damn kids. Yeah?